Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
In the early days of coronavirus pandemic, when there was no clarity, in fact, there was a lot of clutter and noise about how this virus behaves, what works against the virus, what doesn't. We had done a series of cut the clutters, which sometimes we call cut the corona clutter, because we were trying to sift fact from fiction, or at least from known fact. There were not that many facts known about this virus and the illness it causes. Now it's not as if there is total clarity, but we know a lot more. So when we had spoken in the past, we had spoken about the immunology of this virus and the disease it causes. And I'm sharing a couple of those episodes with you today in the description. You can see those. What we are talking about today is a consequence of studies and work around those concepts of immunology that are now leading to possible therapies or maybe even preventive drugs for the virus besides the vaccines, because there is a difference between vaccines and antibody therapies, which I'll tell you about. Now, this has happened because Donald Trump received so quickly, as soon as he went to the hospital in Washington, he immediately received 8 milligrams of Regeneron's COVID-2 antibody cocktail. Now, why is it called cocktail? Because it's a mix of two sets of antibodies. So Regeneron said in its research statement and its guidance to investors and to shareholders earlier, they said that look, we don't take a chance. So it's a bit like a 1-2 punch. Both these fellows go and they do the same thing, and they work towards the same objective. It's like, if you use the example of military warfare, it's like soldiers moving on the ground and taking care of any adversary who's there, and then others going on the helicopter and looking at those from a distance and shooting them up. So this is a combination. So they have two antibodies, and how do they work? These are essentially neutralizing antibodies. So as you would remember from our immunology lectures, there are different kinds of antibodies that the human body produces, and that debate comes up every time people say, oh, but iska COVID ka to antibodies finish in the body in 3 to 4 months, so you are not immune. You are still immune, because you also have, our bodies are also gifted or blessed with immunological memory. That immunological memory resides in memory T cells and memory B cells. Memory T cells have a shorter memory, memory B cells have a longer memory. So these new drugs, these are very, very at a very high level, advanced level of scientific thinking and work. These drugs take out memory B cells, the neutralizing antibodies that are memory B cells. I'm oversimplifying all this, so if there are any immunology experts there, please pardon me for simplifying it so much. I know that yours is a very complex science, but I have to simplify it. And then these are inserted in the body of a person. What they do is, they don't activate the body's immune system to fight the virus. That the vaccines do. That is the difference. Vaccine either puts in dead virus or attenuated virus in your body, or other things in your body. Say Moderna, it puts it's an RNA, messenger RNA vaccine. They do stuff in the body, so your body finds a way to fight the virus and produce the antibodies and fight the virus. What this does is, if I may again oversimplify it, this, once again, let me give you a mechanical example that I had done earlier while explaining the immunology of coronavirus infection to you. And I had said then that the coronavirus with the spike proteins, so if you look at these spike proteins, they target ACE2 receptors in our body. The first area where they encounter them is our respiratory system, our lungs. These are areas rich in ACE2 receptors. And then you have the heart, etc., and then other organs. That's why this can go and hit any organ in your body, whichever is all the organs that are ACE2 receptors rich. And how this works is that think of the receptor as a rivet and think of spike on the coronavirus as the screw. So this goes into the rivet and screws itself around it, which means then they are tied, and then through that it burrows into your cells, starts eating up the cells food, starts getting the cell to reproduce for it. This is the world's smartest parasite. Does nothing of its own, can't even reproduce on its own, but gets your cell to do it for you. Absolute slave driver. How this cocktail works of two antibodies that Regeneron, the New York-based American company, has produced and which Donald Trump got, it functions in two ways. One, it functions by binding itself to receptor binding domain of the spike protein. So if the spike protein is a screw, right, it has its threads, so this goes and binds itself to that. So even if it hits the rivet, it's not able to attach itself to the rivet. So the second mode of action or second route of action is that while the first goes and say again use that screw and rivet, one goes and blunts the screw or the blocks the points of the plug. The other one goes and blocks the socket or the rivet. So the other route is it goes and blocks the ACT receptor. So if ACT receptor is also blocked and this is also blocked, this is also blunted, then this cannot go and attach itself. If it cannot go and attach itself, then the coronavirus would die, because the only way it can survive in our bodies is if it can parasite off our cells, or it can slave drive our cells to death. If it's not able to find that connection, then it's see you later, and your body takes care of the virus and it expels it and expels anything else, and the body is very good at carrying out a scavenging act, no problem about that. Now what the Regeneron research showed, or what they claimed, was it was a very small sample. It is not very heavily researched, very heavily trialed as yet, heavily researched, yes. This is also a company that got $450 million as a part of Donald Trump's Operation Warp Speed, that is to get treatments and vaccines as soon as possible. That's why Trump takes particular pride in this drug. So the company claims that they found in initial trials that this is safe, this definitely and greatly reduces viral load, and this makes it much easier for the body to deal with the disease. Now, how did the company find these antibodies, and why are these called monoclonal? So monoclonal, the definition is in the name, which means you take one cell and then put it through a technological process, put it through a cell line as it's called, and multiply it. So one cell then can become millions of cells or billions of cells or whatever. But from where does that one cell come, and what is that one cell? So the one cell they need is a memory B cell, a neutralizing memory B cell. So initially they took it from a sick patient who had recovered, obviously a volunteer, and then they cloned it or tried to clone it, and they maybe established their concept that this is what works. And then they did something more striking, and that will be something that I will use in my concluding note today, because it is such a good blow struck for science, not at science, for science. So they then thought that, you know, to collect it from so many people and to find it will be cumbersome, plus it will take you a long time scaling it up. So they thought, why not try it in mice which mimic the human immune system? Now, how do you get mice to mimic the human immune system? Simple. You genetically modify the mice to mimic the human immune system. So they used genetically modified mice which copy the human immune system, and they then produced these cells, memory B cells or neutralizing memory B cells, in those mice. From there they took these out and they're filling these up in the vials. In fact, I'm sharing with you a link from Regeneron's website, which gives you a very good example of how their process works, these drugs work, and how vaccines work. So it's the mice that give you these antibodies. What this also means is that usually the big degree of difficulty with monoclonal cocktails is that it is very cumbersome to produce them, they are very expensive, you can't get them in volume, and the treatment remains confined to very few people, which is still the case because I don't think that any estimates tell you that this company can produce more than 1.5 million doses of this in a year for all of America. So if it's all the world's needs, it will take forever. And I'm also sharing with you the statement that Regeneron has shared with investors and the media on 29th of September. These are sort of key days and key weeks because then Donald Trump falls sick and quickly he takes 8 milligrams, as I told you, of this Regeneron drug. And it would look as if this had a dramatic improvement in his case. This brought a dramatic improvement. Now it may just be the steroid talking because, as somebody said on Twitter, Trump on steroids is like Trump on steroids. And you saw as soon as he came back, he came to the White House for 2 hours. He was on Twitter attacking everybody. And there was one tweet there which will also feature in my conclusion today. So let me not forget that. Now, is this so dramatically beneficial? We don't know yet because one case does not make a drug trial. Now, this drug has gone through some trials. Another 2,000 people have been enrolled all over the US, Brazil, Mexico, Chile. And this trial is going on at 150 sites with them. Another 850 are being chosen for at a number of hospitals, and these are hospitalized patients. So they are trying this drug on those who are hospitalized, those who are diagnosed to be positive but not hospitalized, not very sick yet, but they are also trying it on those that are not infected to see whether this can work as a preventive as well. If it works as a preventive, it will be a good vaccine, but the cost will not be that of a vaccine. Cost will be thousands of times more than that of a vaccine. So this will be a very luxurious drug to use as a vaccine. I don't think more than a few thousand people, say in India, will be able to afford it. Now, as Regeneron has hit the headlines because Donald Trump took their drug, there is another American firm, Indianapolis based, which has also produced a similar monoclonal antibody treatment. That is not a cocktail, that is one antibody, and that firm is Eli Lilly. So just as Regeneron has produced REGN-CoV2, Eli Lilly has produced LY-CoV for COVID, 555. Why they call it 555, I don't know. So they have shown that among the samples that took in the placebo, 6% people ended up going to the hospital, ended up needing hospitalization. From the drug group, people who were given the treatment, only 1.5% needed hospitalization. So in sheer numbers, absolute numbers, out of 302 in the treatment group, 5 needed hospitalization. Out of 150 in the placebo group, 9 needed hospitalization. In percentage terms, this shows 72% reduction in the need for hospitalization. What both drugs have done is they've also shown you that your body gets rid of the virus much faster. The Eli Lilly early studies, and these studies are bigger than Regeneron studies, they actually show you, and this trial was called Blaze 1 trial, that by day 3 in most patients, this virus had been cleared if they were being given their monoclonal antibody, whereas other patients cleared it fully by the 11th day. So it also reduces the treatment time, reduces the recovery time, and if God forbid one has to go to the hospital, it reduces the hospitalization time. Otherwise, it actually prevents or reduces the need to go to hospitals. Both these companies and both these sets of trials are being done in partnership with a very reputed institution in America, that is the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, headed by none else than Dr. Anthony Fauci. So this is a sort of public-private partnership, state and the private sector working together, state even giving money to these companies. As I said, that is Operation Warp Speed. Now, there are a couple of catches here. For example, Regeneron's drug or treatment, it seems it does not work so well on patients who've already started producing their antibodies to fight coronavirus. But it works much better on patients who have not yet started producing their antibodies, which means it might be more effective if it's given very early after the infection. And that's why there is a concern that because right now it's an experimental therapy, you need a compassionate use permission. When you're the President of America, there is no problem, you can get it in a jiffy, but anybody else will take at least, even living in America, even if it's compassionate, at least 2 days, by which time you may have lost the window when this drug is effective. So that is a very important factor here. The difference with Eli Lilly is that it doesn't look like that is sensitive to whether you've begun to produce antibodies or not, but that is less conclusive because Eli Lilly did not separate in their trial a seropositive, people who already are producing antibodies, and seronegative, people who have not yet produced their own antibodies to COVID. They did not separate them in the sample, but if you look at the number of people who benefited there, it would look like a large number of them are benefiting. So both these treatments work. Now, we have to understand that these are very expensive treatments. These are very expensive. They are difficult to scale up. They are a bit different, say, from similar treatments, antibody treatments, say for cancer, where you might have to design it for each individual. This can be done at a larger scale. Also, unlike cancer, you don't need to use it for a long time. You need to use it once or twice, maybe a few milligrams. So you don't need large volumes of this. So maybe the total cost will not be so much, but scaling up will be a problem. Having said that, it's not as if antibody treatment has, monoclonal antibody treatment has just been discovered. It's been around from the last century. Sounds ancient, no? From the 20th century. So 1986, the first set came out. It was called OKT3, OKT3. And what was it designed for? It was designed to train your body to not reject kidneys that had been transplanted, because what happens whenever our body gets something foreign, a foreign object, our body's immune system begins to fight it. So this was to control your body's immune system and train it to not fight your new kidneys. So that goes back to 1986, a long time back. After that, US FDA, which is the big regulatory agency, has given approval to 64 monoclonal antibody therapies for cancers, autoimmune disease like lupus, arthritis, rheumatic arthritis. Some of these work also by getting the body's immune system to fight a disease, particularly in the case of cancer. So you have drugs like rituximab, blinatumomab. So the first one fights non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and rheumatism. The other one deals with leukemia, or helps you deal with leukemia. Also, Regeneron had already used this monoclonal antibody cocktail approach to a treatment for Ebola. That's why if you can get to a hospital which can give you experimental therapy for Ebola, your fatality rate is almost negligible, whereas if you went to a hospital in Africa with sort of less developed medical care, fatality could be 70-80%, even for Ebola. So this is how these drugs work. Now that brings me to the end of this Cut the Clutter, and I told you I'll bring two things back here. One, I'll bring you the mice, and second, I bring you this Trump tweet. So Trump, as soon as he got a bit better, he tweeted about many things, as he always does. I think he lives on Twitter. Twitter is his steroid. And he said, pro-life, vote. Now, what does that mean? Pro-life means conservatives in America, Trump's party, they say we are pro-life in the sense that they are against abortion. And they believe that once an embryo comes into being. That means once fertilization in a human body takes place between the sperm and the egg, a human being comes into being, and then to do anything with it is sacrilege. That is called pro-life. Now immediately people raise the question, because people, pro-lifers, also oppose embryonic stem cell research. So Bush, earlier a conservative, had put a lot of restraints on embryonic stem cell research. Obama had later lifted those curbs. Just last year, Donald Trump has brought many of those curbs back because he has to please his conservative, Christian, church-going audience. So how can you be pro-life and then be using a drug like Regeneron's cocktail, which has been developed using embryonic stem cells during research? So Regeneron had issued a statement earlier saying that yes, we have used some embryonic stem cells in our research, but they qualified it by saying we did not take it from human beings, or we did not take an embryo from a woman's body. As you know, technically, until the 9th week after conception, it's called an embryo. After 9th week, it becomes a fetus. So they said we have not even taken out an embryo from a woman's body. We made these embryonic stem cells in vitro, which means in a test tube, like with IVF, in vitro fertilization, which is a more common technique. So take a sperm from somewhere, egg from somewhere, fertilize, create embryonic stem cells. So no life has been interfered with. But once again, the hypocrisy of the anti-science people has been exposed, because Donald Trump is seeking votes in the name of being pro-life, but is quite happy to take a drug based on embryonic stem cell research. At the same time, the mice. Now these mice might save millions of lives going ahead. Not these two mice, but all the mice that are produced like this. They are genetically modified mice, for heaven's sake. So many people in this world, educated, literate people, liberal people, have been running these deadly campaigns against anything that's genetically modified, seeds, drugs, anything. But now you have a lifesaver coming out of these mice who've been genetically modified. So when these drugs become more widely available, or when more drugs based on GM technology become widely available, will you oppose them? Will you want them banned also? So in this episode, there is not one blow, but two massive blows struck on behalf of modern science. One on behalf of GM technologies, and second, embryonic stem cell research. So once again, I think Donald Trump will not change. Donald Trumps of the world don't get chastened. Donald Trump will not change, but I do hope that many others will change, including our government. It's a good thing the Modi government has now allowed trials with GM brinjal in India, which is flourishing in Bangladesh. So this is a lesson to leaders and intellectuals all over the world. Please give up blind opposition to science, because it is science now which is saving our lives. It is science now, it is very modern science now, which might have saved Donald Trump's life as well.